Interview June.
Okay, then let's get ready and start. June, thank you for accepting the interview.
Of course, man, no worries, and thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no problem. I guess I got some information about you. You be a producer, and you can correct me about that. You be from the UK. You make a lot of artist music for artists and also beats and simples. How long you be in the business right now?
I would say professionally about 3 years. But as a hobby, it's been about a 10-year span.
10 years?
Yeah, so from 2014, that's when I first started getting into music production, and then I decided to take it as a career about 3 years ago.
All right. And how did you take the choice that you start into it?
I think it was a lot of pressure from other people. A lot of other people said that I needed to start taking it seriously and stop just doing it as a hobby, because the amount of time and effort that was put into it was the equivalent to a career. So they said just do it as a career rather than just trying to invest all this time without any sort of results or return from it. So that's what I need to change, man.
All right. So you make simples and also hold the recording and to produce for artists. Who is right now signature at your producing record as an artist? Can you do that?
There's quite a few, man. It's difficult to say. I'm working with an artist called Warmer at the moment, who we've been working together a lot over the past year. And such, and we did have one project release that got rescinded back because he wanted to redo some elements to it, which we have, but we're gonna go through a whole rollout for that later in the year. But I would say out of all the artists that is quite signature to my production, I would say him, Keely, he pushes me a lot in terms of breaking boundaries and trying to really work on sort of concept-based music rather than just music for people to listen to. So it's nice to sort of have to force yourself to write a story whilst curating music at the same time. So definitely, Warmer would be quite signature to my music at the moment. As well as there's a female artist called Angel Buns, who's a Chinese artist. She's extremely talented and going through a lot of experimentation right now. So she keeps things very versatile, and it's a lot of fun working with her at the moment.
All right. Who was right now the most, I will say, popular artist that you produced at the moment?
The most popular artist that I produced for, so I've done plenty of samples that have been used by bigger artists. Jazz Cartier is one. He's a Canadian artist who's pretty big. I did a few of the samples that were used in his projects were done by myself. I would say he's probably one of the biggest artists that I've had some form of direct contact with. But with others, I don't know where my samples have ended up. So they could have been used by any A-lister really. But Jazz Cartier, I would say, is probably the biggest artist that I've had the chance to get some work with.
Oh, nice. Also, I got the question about the samples. You make that also for the artist. So the artist, they request you, they give you some a cappella of the voice, or maybe they give you the song text. I didn't know how you connect each other. So because mostly you didn't, like you say right now, you didn't see each other. So you connect on the iNet.
Yeah. So it works in different ways. Sometimes an artist may contact me. They might send me a voice message. They'll say, "Oh, I have an idea, but I don't know how to sort of work with it." or they don't know what direction they want to take. So they'll ask for a few concepts. So once I get the voice note or such, or if they have a rough recording, we try to work around melodies following from that. Or they'll ask for, or it'll be the reverse, and I'll have various samples that I might have picked up on, things that I might have come across if I was playing about. And I thought, someone might actually like this, and then I might send it out to artists. I'm on a few Discord servers as well, so sometimes on the Discord servers we'll put the samples in there and we'll say this is the start of a project. Does anyone want to get into it? And it gives artists a bit of a free roam to sort of say, okay, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling the idea, let's expand on it now. And then we'll get into conversation. But a majority of the time, it's either they send me something very quick and short, or I send them something quick and short, and they just work from there.
All right. So that's how you're gonna make with them business. Also, did you choose the artist? Is there sometimes some person where you're gonna say, no, I can pick you right now because there be some, I don't know, difference about you and about his music and your music?
Yeah, definitely. I think what a downside to a lot of producers is because their work's quite limited. They're just like, I'll work with anyone and everyone. But what I came to realize very quickly is that your sound, as much as someone might feel like, oh yeah, this is crazy, this is hard, doesn't necessarily mean you can work with them. Because when it comes to going to the studio, your energies might not match a lot of the time. So there's been a lot of artists that have approached me. They're like, yeah, I want to do a collab, or I want to do this. And I've had to say no, because when I've heard their music, it's not resonated with me. And I'm saying, if it's not resonating with me now, it's going to be the same when we go in the studio, and we're not going to get anything done. And we're not going to produce anything that's going to be of a good quality at the end of the day.
Thank you for the message.
Mm-hmm.
I got also the request. What about how you feel when you're gonna make samples and beats for the artist? Mm-hmm. Where you take off the inspiration for it?
Some of it might be the artist's own music. Sometimes I also look at like what they're doing, what they're around, and such, and kind of look into the culture of where they are. Because a lot of the time you can just find like simple inspirations from certain sounds. Like I've worked with a lot of South African artists, and sometimes I'll just, I'll dive deep into Spotify, YouTube, and I'll listen to local sounds that are, popping at that moment in time. And I'll be like, okay, cool, I've gotten the rhythm, I've gotten the sound that's working around at the moment, so I'll take it from that. If it's for like R&B artists, I'll take out a couple of vinyls, I'll play some vinyls and just have a listen and study what a lot of the old school greats used to do, and then try re-input that into my own pieces as well. So that's the process, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So where you gonna feel? How you feel that you say you've been now in the UK? Do you want to go international? More, you be now international with the artists and music. I know that. You just say a lot of artists, but how you feel, what you're doing, where it go, how big it can grow up for you right now?
Well, it can go quite a way. At the moment, I'm starting to diverge back into sort of the electronic scene right now. So a lot of garage, a lot of house. And even elements of amapiano. And from what's happened recently, I've been asked to go to Amsterdam recently, which is quite cool, and a few other places. I think definitely Europe over the next year. I think I can expand quite a bit in Europe, and then extension from there. We'll probably see how maybe the Middle East might do as well, especially with the electronic scene. I know electronic music is loved in the Middle East, so potentially we can see how we can get down there as well.
So when I just ask you, it's a personal question, how much time you take for your work till the day?
It can.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it varies. Some days it can be all of like 7 to 12 hours a day, depending on the amount of work I'm doing. But yeah, on most I try to spend about 5 hours a day. The reason being is because it's mainly to sort of protect the mind state as well, and protect physically, like my ears as well. You can't be going on making music for too long and not damage your ears. So about five hours on average for a normal day would be about my general working span. Some days it'll be longer. Like yesterday, I was in the studio from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., which was a very long day. And that was just going back to back with different artists. But generally, most of the time, if I'm working from home, about 5 hours, I would say.
Okay. So, did a lot of artists make your, I would say, that what you produce for them? Did they sound that also in music videos, or just like normal music what's in the streaming?
Sometimes they do. Some, like for example, when I was talking about Warmer and Angel, they're really trying to sort of step a little bit outside the mainstream at the moment, because the mainstream is very, especially for like more underground artists, it is very difficult to sort of break through if you have a sound that is the same as everybody else, because it filters through, like no one's really paying attention. So a lot of people are starting to use the samples a little bit more, or request certain samples, because they're like, oh, this is a bit trippy, this is a little bit different, and it might hurt the ears of general listeners as well. So yeah, some of them do, but then in general, you do have a lot of artists that like to keep things simple, and they just want to follow the same music vibe as what's going on at the moment. So yeah, I do also get a lot of requests for that.
All right. So, did you be also ready? I mean, be a producer from the UK, and maybe you see also my stream. And I got also artists from UK who I interview. The last artist was Casper. Tomorrow I got Versatile. Versatile, also a producer, he makes samples. But there is also artists that I know in the UK. I'll be a lot around of that. They need a producer. They need to get on tour. They need some help. How you feel about that? Would you say, okay, they're gonna be welcome here right now in the interview when I'm gonna say I'm gonna take some few artists, or will you say I'm right now too busy for it?
I would say I'd always take on certain artists. I think it's always good to make time, because you don't know who's going to come through. Like there could be a magic person, and just fair enough, if you are busy, you can always reshuffle. People can always reshuffle. I don't, especially like when you're not at a stage where you're having to work every single hour a day. You can always take time to do some work with a new artist. You have 365 days a year, so that's 365 new artists you can potentially work with on a bare minimum. So yeah, always welcoming new artists. I don't know, I'm in somewhere. I know.
Because on Sunday, I don't think it was Sunday, this guy spoke with Casper. Casper is the cousin from M1. M1 is the one.
Yeah.
You know M1.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's number one producer in UK. And they got, I can't say it right now, but maybe you connect each other. So
100%.
Yeah, that will be sound good. So how you feel about when you introduce the artist from person, you make them music, and how it feels now when you see how big they grow up with that what you create for them? Did they say sometimes thank you, or they give you a gift for it, or example personally?
Sometimes, not all the time. One thing that I've realized is that with some artists, some of them are grateful. Don't get me wrong. There's some of them are grateful and they get into certain positions and they're happy for it. But there's a lot of tunnel vision when it comes to artists. So they're very zeroed in on where they want to go. So sometimes they forget to say thank you, or they forget to give gifts. So it's not a common thing. But I don't blame them, because at the end of the day, they got a mission to do. They got something they really focus on, and my job is just to help them get there. At the end of the day, we're not doing it for faith. We're not doing it for fame. We're doing it to get music out there and hopefully have it be heard by the right people. But I've gotten some gifts beforehand. I had a T-shirt given to me. I had a hoodie as well. A fashion designer gifted me a org hoodie, which was really cool. So I wear that to this day and such everywhere. But yeah, gifts aren't and such, they're not as common. But when they do come, it's greatly appreciated.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I would say you say a little bit the producing is a little bit contact with the underground also and behind of it. But also I just got the question, how do you promote? How is the promotion at this? Do you promote at big streams like Spotify, the artist, or?
So when it comes to promotion, because I'm a producer, majority of like promotion isn't the same for me as it would be for mainstream artists. But there's a lot of different channels. For me, I do a lot of in-person promotion. There's also inclusive of DJ sets and radio. That's a big form that I primarily focus on. Like streaming platforms are okay, but there's other ways. There's also, before I took it as a career, I used to give my tracks that I produced to YouTubers, bloggers, and I used to allow them to use the music in the video as long as the song link is there for the SoundCloud, and that allowed for huge promotion very easily across the board. I don't have to really do too much work, so that's one of the main ways. But other than that, getting DJs to play my tracks or getting it on digital radio were the best forms of promotion for me compared to Spotify and such.
All right. So how the artist can get in touch with you? So where they can find you and where they can hear your.
In general, a lot. My main routes would be like on Instagram and TikTok. People can connect to me through events, but a lot of it is word of mouth. I work with a lot of studio engineers, so I give the studio engineers my card, or I'll give them some of my beats, and they can play it out to whoever comes to the studio, because that's a lot more worthwhile. Just because if someone goes to the studio, it means that they're probably a little bit more serious about getting something done, compared to other artists that might, for example, not even have the financial needs to get what they need. So they can do that. They can hit me up on an email if they need to, because all my own stuff is in my profiles. And yeah, that's about it, man.
All right. So thank you for the message.
That's all good.
Let the people know where they can connect you and how they can connect you. So I need now a behind of story for you. You just how you just started, where you young, how you grow up with the music, how you be inspired, maybe everything together. You got a little message.
Yeah. So of course, I'm born and raised in South London, in Kent. I'm not sure if you guys know the artist Stormzy, but Stormzy's from my area as well. He used to live down the road, to be fair. But that South London has a very huge music scene down this side, so I grew up a lot listening to music of all kinds, from garage, grime, and various forms of UK hip hop. So there was a lot of that when I started out. I first got into music in the sort of the electronic scene back in 2014, when there was a lot of hybrid trap, feature bass, a lot of that EDM side of things. So that was the first time I kind of went into production. Fast forward about 3-4 years later, I ended up traveling to China. I lived in China for just over a year and such, which was really cool, and I think was sort of the peak of my or a big turning point in my production career, because it was very quiet, because I didn't have as much access to like YouTube, Spotify, and all these different things. The music I was making was just really my own. And I took a lot of inspiration of when I was over there, and that's also where the name Yun come from. Yun is my Chinese name, so I just took it on board from the name that they gave me over there, and I just stuck with it. And yeah, jumping from there, when I came back, of course, COVID hit, and my main thing was to get beats online, to work with people online. So I started working with music communities, started working with online radio stations, helping artists connect that way. And then when I decided to finally take it on as a career, I started holding my own open studio sessions. So we'd go out to larger studios, have multiple artists come through, about 15, 20 artists will come through, and we'd be making music all day, getting ideas together and stuff like that. And yeah, that's about it. In regards to inspirations, my parents grew up on a lot of reggae. Originally, my family is from Jamaica and Costa Rica. So we grew up on a lot of reggae, a lot of lavish rock, and such, and that meant a lot of sort of groove and rhythm inspirations for me, especially with bass and even guitar. Guitar is one thing that I'm looking to learn still. I'm hoping to learn the guitar at some point, but yeah, with guitar, bass, and keys, that had a lot of inspiration for me. And also film. I used to listen to a lot of film scores when I was younger, and just try to gather inspiration from complex compositions that you would get from film as well, and transfer that into music, which I think helped when it came to like making samples now, being able to have more complex rhythms, was inspired from that. So yeah, in short, that's my background really, living all the way up to now.
Thank you for the story.
All right.
And also I'll be thankful you half Jamaican.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just came back from Jamaica as well. So I was in Jamaica for 2.5 weeks and such. So I was in the Grill, which is a beautiful, beautiful place in Montego Bay. So no, it was really nice.
Can I ask you why you didn't make something in? I mean, reproducing. You maybe know what the question is.
It's a lot of it is because especially for like reggae, there's because from a so with way a lot of music produced now is produced from a digital standpoint, and it's very difficult to really capture what the essence of certain genres are. So even when it comes to blues, when it comes to like blues, neo soul, reggae especially, two-tone ska, all of that. The reason I don't do it is because I would rather prefer hearing a live band curated compared to doing it from a digital perspective, because the sound isn't different, the feeling is a lot different. From what we do here, everything kind of like very fixed rate orchestrated, whilst in those genres, it's the impurity in it that makes it so beautiful and why people get along to it. So that's why I don't generally go down that route. But if I have artists that play such, I've always invited them. I don't promote it as much because we do production for that for those genres. But because it's solely like myself, more so with those type of genres, I have multiple other people come into the fray. to do it. So we'll have a drummer, we'll have a bassist, we'll have a guitarist and such. So yeah, that's why I don't put it in predominantly myself as much, but it's one thing I love to listen to all the time, and I gain so much inspiration from it too.
All right. I just asked behind of that because we also in contact, in touch with a lot of artists, I will say also underground artists, also in Jamaica and dom rap and everything there around, and they have I will say they have very good voices and they have talents, but they didn't get so much touch into the music world, so they didn't grow their big up. You know how it is. Yeah. So
It's funny because I went to a few shows whilst I was out there, and you know, there's so much talent, there's so much like going on when you are out there. But I think one of the biggest issues is that due to, like you said, due to the lack of connections that there are out there, a lot of them find it hard to sort of really build their ranking or build their standing over there. And we have to remember because of the culture difference as well. Like for a lot of Western countries, it's very normal for us to go down particular routes, whilst the availability of that in other, like especially like say island countries, there's not that much application for it so over there. So it is a little bit more difficult, but there are ways. I think it's they just need like some good funnels to go through, and good systems that are built up over there to help artists more so.
Okay. Can you tell me some about it? Maybe? Some information?
So I feel over there, there's not as many live performances for artists, or opportunities for live performances for artists, especially if you go into like bashment or dance hall. You know, compared to, for example, in the UK where we have ciphers all the time, and we have all these sort of platforms within our countries. Over in Jamaica, there's very few platforms that really dedicate themselves to music. Even music channels, for example, there's not any dedicated music channels to promote artists. So if a dedicated music channel such was over there that could really push them forward, it will help distribution a lot. If you see it. So, people used to go back to music channels or to radios to discover new music, whilst now a lot of people are focusing on Spotify to give them something new. But if you're able to develop a platform that's good enough, then and be able to promote their artists, literally just do a video or just do a lyric video, something simple. It doesn't have to be complex. That will make it a lot easier for people in those countries to really emerge and actually have somewhere to get themselves out other than just their own stuff.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for helping there out. About that, maybe we DM each other, because after giving also other artists there, because hopefully you don't want to see how many messages I got. I got the DMs from everywhere and some soundtracks you didn't know. You can hear them all, but they have all behind of that some kind of background stories, and I know how it is. Definitely. So right now, about your artist, what you say in the first time, what bigger plans you got there with her?
So right now, we're kind of looking to a lot of the main artists that I work with. We're kind of looking to curate more long-lasting projects and such. One thing we're also working on is the delivery of shows, like delivery of performances. Because especially in the UK, one thing that is sort of killing the underground scene are these people do showcases. But with these showcases, artists aren't performing per se. They're coming up and they're doing a song and then they go, and that's not enough for a crowd to really get to them, or take them in, or take in, what they're really trying to do. So we're trying to look at how we can change that, how the artists actually go out and perform as well. From the production side, we see how we might want to change, the track from streaming to live performing. For example, say, okay, maybe this time we'll get you a live band, and a live band will perform a version of this song and such. So we're doing a lot of work on balancing that out at the moment and giving them various platforms, and then also their stage presence as well, because believe it or not, a lot of underground artists have really poor stage presence. They'll go out there and they'll stand in the same place throughout the entire performance, and that's not a show, that's not a performance. So we're working with a lot of choreographers now as well to help them understand what it is to control the stage, where best to sort of move yourself, how to interact with the crowd without forcing it as well. And also to teach artists not to talk too much. Because one thing we come across is that artists want to explain how they got to every single song, but most of the time the audience aren't always interested in how you got to every single song. They just want to hear the song. So we're also teaching everyone to forget about explaining. You can explain after, but go out there, perform that song the best you can, and then speak to the audience, then engage with them, rather than trying to explain every single bit, because it's not a great use of their time. It uses up a lot of your time where you could have been performing, and afterwards you could have really interacted with them, but instead you wanted to say all the marks. And as important as it is, deliver an amazing performance and they will never forget it.
All right. Thank you for the background information. So that'll be a lot of interesting, because you say that's a lot of going on and you do a lot. Appreciate.
Yeah, it's all good.
My question is also, so there's right behind of it, like it's gonna be a little more than it's gonna be a tour. It's coming a tour maybe around some. Planning a tour.
Potentially, man. So as I said,
we just listen to it, and it's
so as I said, we already got invited to Amsterdam. So that will be one venue. But it's what we're doing now. We're kind of looking at the statistics to kind of see where it'll be viable for us to go. What places, what venues, if it's better to do a local tour as well, just go to certain cities and do show after show after show, which we potentially will get down to, but we wouldn't see that until maybe spring next year coming to fruition. We might have a rollout then, but yeah, about spring next year, and we'll be looking to potentially tour either in London or just across the Midlands within the UK. Yeah, looks like it should be a lot of fun, and if we can go international, then we'll take it. We'll take the chances we can get.
Yeah, of course. Did you plan also maybe take a video production to film everything what you did on the tour?
Yeah, we've got a lot of content creators ready and raring to go. So we're gonna have guys taking both behind the scenes and then front angles as well. So there'll be a lot of great content to come up. As well. We're looking forward to it. We might have a cipher coming up soon, which we just need to get a few logistics worked out. But that will be really, really good. We'll have a lot of artists on there in a mixture of different genres. So we're looking forward to it.
So first of all, I got to remember it. You've been in touch with a lot of radio stations.
Yes.
So that be for you easy way to make like maybe I don't think maybe an interview or something around the radio station for the artists?
Yeah, so one of my friends, a friend of mine, she's a radio presenter, and I remember she was just looking for guests, and I said, look, I got loads of artists for you to do, and I remember she interviewed about 12 of them in her first 8-9 weeks at that radio station. So sometimes it is very easy to get them in, because at the end of the day, the radio stations, they need artists to come in and be able to present something. But I also believe that the artist has to be prepared to go and be able to deliver a show that isn't bog standard, that is actually quite unique. Because there's no value to the radio station if the artist is boring per se, if they're not ready to answer certain questions or such. So as much as it's easy to get interviews, the artist also needs to be prepared to take the interview and get the most out of it as well. So showing their personality, showing the excitement that they have, really talk about their process. I mean, if someone just sits back and just says yes or okay and right to every question, is boring. The listeners aren't going to be involved, and if they did hear you, they'll probably just not be interested in anything else. So yeah, getting the interviews is fine, and then afterwards it's just making sure that the artist is ready to take it.
All right, thank you. Just here right now from you do it very professional. Yes, very professional in the business. Yeah. So you would just watch everything around how your artist is doing, how he's living, what's going on in the background. That's not a lot producer do that, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because mostly the producer they know and get in touch with, they do it other ways. They get assistance for it.
I feel you can get an assistant, right? But it's the thing I have behind that is that if someone ever questions you on something, your assistant will be the one to know everything, and you'll know parts of it. And for me, I always want to be prepared. If someone's got a question to ask me about my artist, any of the artists I work with, or any of the stuff that I'm connected with, I need to be able to know it the best. So that's why I put a lot of time and effort into making sure that I have all these connections, I have all these establishments, so that if anyone asks me, I can answer it the best. Because it's not really valuable to people if I just say, oh, well, yeah, go online and I'll email you, and you just end the conversation. There's no value in that relationship anymore. So yeah, that's why I put a lot of effort in making sure that I know all these things. And also it's beneficial to me as well, because if my artists end up doing well, that means I'm always in work. I can't ever be out of work if my artists are doing well. So that's another motivation for me. If I put in a lot of effort, my artists will always be on top, which means that I always get work back. So I will never have to worry about having to hustle hard and having to put in crazy effort with nothing to come fruitful of it, because the artists I might work with don't really want to work like that. Whilst if I do it this way, everyone's getting their bread, everyone's getting food at the table. So I can then sit back and be like, cool, I know that X amount is going to come in this month and I don't have to worry about it because my people are good and they're going to continue making sure that they're good. And then, yeah, that's it, man.
All right. Appreciate it. Do you be also in contact with model labels?
A couple. Just because so I work with a lot of fashion brands as well, and they always need models and such. So I always say to them, if you got anyone that can end up in a music video or want to be flown out, and they'll tell me the pricing as well. And what often happens is, in a lot of cases, you get a lot of artists that want all these cool outfits and stuff like that, but they can't afford it. It's a lot of money to buy these things, or to get the girls or the guys or whatever, models, dancers, etc. It's a lot. So sometimes go with like smaller brands, smaller such, and just say, look, do you have a piece of sample clothing I can wear in my music video? And most of the time they'll be like, yes, because for them it's free marketing. It's free like promotion of their product, their brand, and make sure you get a few cool shots of just the clothing or the models per se. Make sure that they're tagged in the end. It's very easy to make those connections if you negotiate well. But for me personally, I know a good few.
All right, thank you very much. So that was I just expecting also. Yes, with model labels. So what's about branding with clothes? Did they must take over your artists some special clothes from model?
Sometimes. So sometimes what will happen is that a lot of these brands, these clothing brands, they'll be working through ideas and they'll have a sample product that's just sitting there. And the sample product, they're not going to sell it because it's not a final product. It's not a finished product. But an artist can take that, wear it during a video shoot or such, or they'll say, oh, wear it to one of your gigs and when you perform. And that's the brand's way of building up, their brand awareness and such. So they'll be happy to let the artist use that stuff. And all the artist has to do is make sure that they tag them or do a shout out during their performance of the clothes that they have and such. And then, a lot of people will want to go for it. For example, I used to wear a lot of my Trash Angels hoodie. I used to wear it in a couple of my videos that I used to put up for content. And then I would wear it out and give them promotion, and then people would talk about it. So for the brand who gifted me that, I don't have to worry, in terms of financial compensation, because they're going to get it through the brand awareness and people wanting to buy their product because they've seen it actually out and about. So there's a lot of routes. So I would just say, if any artist wants to just generally contact a small brand, say, do you have any samples that I can wear during such and such? And a lot of the time they'll probably be like, yes, because they'll get the sample back, because the artist doesn't have to keep the clothes. They'll give the sample back and then they'll just go to another brand. Next video, use this one. Next video, use that one. And then soon you'll get privately curated stuff for you. They'll be happy to make private things for you, because then the artist can say, oh, this was made by these people or those people. But yeah.
Thank you very much. So my question is now, I'll just maybe can say it. Let me think of it. If you, let's say, you get a lot of artists, you're working now with artists, and how is show up? How is the day for this artist? Is this like a full-time job? Is this like a half-time job, or?
Some it depends. Some artists it's different. Some of them they want to do it full-time, but financially a lot of them do, like especially underground artists, they do have another job that they need to use to finance everything, which is absolutely fine. For me, I do this full-time. This is my full-time job. I own 2 other businesses as well. But I do this full-time. And with certain artists, like yesterday, I had a few artists come in for 2 hours or an hour in a day. And, that'd be enough work for them throughout the day to try and get what they need to do. And then they'll go home and they'll work on whatever they need. Whilst other artists, we've been in the studio for example, with Walmer, I've been in the studio with Walmer for like 6-7 hours in one go. And, that's a full day's worth of work. So it varies. It varies at what stage the person is, if they feel ready and all of that, man.
All right. Thank you very much. So, excuse. Thank you very much. Do you got some question about me or some artists that I interview? Maybe you show up.
Yeah. I mean, sort of. What like with the artists that you do interview, sort of what stage, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are at different stages of their careers, but what would you say the majority of them are at the moment, or what stage of their career would you say?
I would say the biggest one was, the biggest one is now, okay, I would say Tissot is one of the biggest one because he's history. He's make history about the 19th, make music about the 19th, so he's like The Boys, everybody know The Boys. It's around the world. It was a group. Now he make his own music. And I will say it was Taimo J.
Okay.
Taimo J, the reggae artist, you know about him. Yeah, he'd be probably the most biggest, and I'll be proud to interview him. For me, for myself. So I'll be also in touch with Jay Plucker right now.
Okay, that's good.
Jay Plucker, but he got now also, like you say, with the branding, bring a new branding out. So he got a lot to do. So, but we will keep in touch this month. This is what I can tell you. On DM I can tell you which artist I got behind of it. I can't tell it right now here officially, but this will be probably the artist that I just got right now. And like I tell you, first Versatile is artist who bring also the reggae music on it, like make it in UK. He's around at your place, and Casper. I can't say anything because Casper, his cousin, he's from family. His family is a music history. Yes, so music history. So I know everything around it. I will hope maybe I get in touch maybe with M1 one day. Also,
that would be cool. That would be very, very cool.
Yeah, the chances be. I think it's gonna be good. I can't say anything right now because there'll be behind of stories if you see the interview.
Yeah,
you see it, so we can say anything about it now. We'll see where it goes. I can tell you right now, I'll be also in touch with the M with a brand. It's called Lavish.
Okay.
You know the brand Lavish, maybe?
Lavish. I might do, but I might be mistaking it for another one. So I need to confirm that it's the right one that I'm thinking of. So yeah, you can definitely send it to me afterwards. But
I send it to you. But this was today, so I just we're just in touch. He said, okay, let's do it, and just asking the owner. He said, yeah, I'll be the owner. I was like, wow, man, he's the owner from,
Yeah,
so,
100%. Sometimes
so you just asking what you doing, man. I just say I make interviews and be in touch with a lot of artists, everything around, and just calling some names. Also with Model Scout, he be around in we can DM each other. Got a lot of contact, and he said, man, this is amazing. Let's keep in touch. So I don't know what's coming over, so I can't say. Maybe I get some new clothes.
That'll be cool.
You know that? No, it's an interview. It's an interview about his story and everything behind of it. Maybe it's gonna help you out. Maybe also.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But you can be in touch because he's the owner.
The one that makes the decisions, So
he's the one who makes the decisions. So
yeah,
and I would be proud if I get the chance to know him much more better than just the 2 minutes that I had. So let's see. But also, I can say here right now, if you got also artists, I know. You should say many times with the interviews and anything.
100%.
But if you got artists, also behind of a way you can say, okay, man, we spoke each other also. So maybe they can get in touch with me.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be. There's so many artists that sometimes just need a platform like this just to be able to expose what they do. and just be relaxed about it. Because sometimes it's funny, they forget where their journey was or where they began. They're just because they're so focused on the here and now. So interviews like this are good to remind them to sort of reflect back, see where they've been and how they've progressed and what they might actually want to do. And such. So no, there's going to be plenty of artists that I'll be sending through, man.
Thank you very much. I think it's going to be also a little practice.
Yeah, will be.
Because if they go out, they know already what can come over them. So
no, definitely. Just like I said with the radio, like they need to know how to answer these questions. So definitely good practice.
You tell me, maybe DM me and say, "Hey man, I got a text message. Ask these questions and we see how it works out."
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you very much for your time, June.
Of course, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We DM each other. I'm gonna give you all the context what I just got, and I keep in touch with also the artists and the brand. And let's see how it works out, how it can help you. You can help me. So,
thank you very much. Nice, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good one. See you soon.
See you soon.